welcome to another video. Today we're going for a bike fit on the new Ribble TT bike that I've just got delivered. I've never had a TT bike before. If you watched my YouTube videos over the last 2 or 3 years or on social, you've seen that I've been racing Ironman and other triathlons on a modified road bike. Making a road bike as aero as possible. That included TT bars, adding a disc wheel cover and things like that. Now that I have a proper TT bike, I think it's time to take it seriously. Let's get a good bike fit and basically get ready for Ironman Mallorca in 5 weeks. So we're going to see Craig at Whittlefit. He's based just outside Cardiff in Cowbridge. And basically get myself ready, all ready to go and get some good training under my belt and to try and get as fast as I can whilst also being comfy on the bike, ready to come off and run. So I'm really looking forward to this. I've done one ride on the bike, that was last weekend when I first had it. So I know that there's tweaks that has to be made. I'm way too long on the front. The seat position is a little bit all over the place. So as it's my first time on a TT, just better to get it right first time. So, and I probably would say that this video is not endorsed. I know Craig very well, and I know that he has done a lot of people's bike fits that I know have worked. So that's why I've come to him, and that's why I'm going to pay him the money to do it. So hopefully you'll take something out of this, but let's get on with the video and we'll have a chat afterwards. So Craig, introduce yourself.
Craig Burrows, work for Whittlefit Performance, bike fitting and VO2 testing, and we're going to try and get Lewis fast.
So just tell us a bit about yourself in terms of your experience in Ironman and racing.
Started Ironman in 2014, so what's that, 10 years ago? I'm old. Ironman Wales, as we all do. Progressively got a little bit faster, progressively got a little bit more aero. And ultimately led me to bike fitting, which is my passion really, I suppose. Yeah.
So today we're going to try and get this all set up. I've ridden it once, like I've just told you, so we've got a little bit of adjustment to do on the front end and the seats, and I've already changed the Aerobars on the front just because of my previous history with my broken wrists. So yeah, what's the main things you're going to be looking for first off?
At the back end of the bike, this is where the power is generated from. So we'll try and get you as comfortable as possible here first. So make sure the saddle fore aft is in the right place, saddle height is in the right place. Just so we've got a really, really nice, you're planted on the saddle more than anything. Sit bones supported quite nicely, or issue to glass, I should say, supported quite nicely. Rotated forward on to your pubic rami bones, and this is where we'll start, because this is, as I said, where all the power is generated from. Whatever changes we make at the back end will probably have an impact on the front and vice versa. So it's just about marrying up those changes to get the best blend of comfort, aerodynamics, and hopefully get you as fast as you can go.
Sweet, right then, let's better get on with it.
You are flexible, so I didn't think there'd be any issues in terms of Achilles and calves and hamstrings. So foot angle is good, and that's with your cleats pulled right back as well, which is quite nice. Knee angle, for me, that's too high. A lot of people would say 150 is okay. As you can see, the recommended guidance is in the green, but for me, from a long course perspective, that is too high. I tend to put people around 140 to 145, depending on flexibility and distance. Torso angle is at 26 degrees is not aerodynamic enough for me.
Nope.
You know, we get some athletes who come in who are sort of 20 degrees and below, especially if they're just time trialists, they're usually well south of 20. 25 degrees is absolutely fine for iron distance, depending on the course as well. But 26 is
too high.
It's too high.
Yeah.
A couple of ways we can adjust this. The most obvious way is to lower the front end. And considering I think your saddle is too high, we're going to bring this down slightly, which will mean that torso angle is actually going to get higher. You can see that your reach is quite far. I mean, the general trend at the moment is a bit more of an extended reach in order to drop this head in, but I think that's probably slightly too much. We can play around with the front end, but let's just get this back end sorted first, right?
Yep.
So if we look at you at the top of the pedal stroke, again, just from sort of observations over the years, a knee angle of less than 70 puts way too much strain on your knee. Yours is fine, 70. So technically speaking, that saddle height could remain, and it would depend very much on your comfort levels. And if we look then at the midpoint, I don't pay too much attention to knee over pedal spindle on a tri bike. So if you sat smack bang in the middle of that seat post, right there, it would be 77 degrees. You're actually sitting quite far forward on it, which means your effective saddle angle is 80 degrees. There's nothing wrong with that at all. You look at people like Sam Laidlow at the moment, Joe Skipper, they're probably closer to 85 degrees.
Yeah.
Which means that they're way further forward, but so is their front end.
Their reach is long.
Their reach is long, yeah. So we've got like a little bit of playing around to do here on where you sit. Like, I'm happy with 80 degrees. I always try to get people to 80 degrees to start with, and then we go from there. It just allows you to rotate a little bit more over that bottom bracket. So I suppose seat position wise is absolutely fine. Where you're sitting on the bike is fine. If you feel you're generating enough power there, brilliant. If you feel that there's any restrictions in your hips or you're a little bit tight, then we have got scope to move that forward.
Okay.
Just be aware that as we come forward here, the mass, it goes over the front of the bike a little bit more, so it's just finding that balancing act really.
So what Craig is doing now, just to explain, we've sort of just left the back as it is. We're quite happy with it. Yeah. So what we're doing at the moment is working on the tilt on the front, because actually from what we've seen on the video, Craig's quite happy with my sort of, was it hip?
What's that, sorry?
It was from the hip. You like that?
Yeah. I'm actually happy with your torso angle to a certain degree. It's just having more tilt at the front will just make you generally much comfier. In most cases, most people are comfier with a bit of tilt at the front, especially for long distance tri. So it just allows you to sink into the position a little bit more. So that's what we're working on at the moment.
Okay, so looking on the TV then, we're just going to lower it.
Probably about 15 mil, yeah.
15 mil, just to come a little bit lower on the
front end.
On the front, just to get me a bit more over the front and then bring me forward a bit on the seat as well. So quite a big difference, and we've gone higher on the tilt as well, around about 12, wasn't it?
Yeah, 12 degrees, which actually does equate to a little bit more tilt to the bars, because the bars are already tilted upwards.
So the top of the bar is 35, wasn't it?
Top of the bars, yeah, was 35 degrees in the end, yeah. Good. Very solid. So again, what we're looking for is how that helmet interacts with your shoulders and your back. We don't really want much of a gap there, and we haven't really got much of a gap either, so that's quite a nice fitting helmet. As you said, you like the visibility, you like the ventilation, so and it's a reversible visor for that climb in Mallorca, so it's a good all-round helmet, I think. So you should be able to feel the tail of it. So if you like really touch your ears with your shoulders, tuck your bum in, pull up on the bars. Looks good as long as you hold that. So if you look down now at the floor because you're tired, that's just touch your ears with your shoulder blades, dig your bum into the saddle, and just pull up on those bars and dig your elbows in as if you're really ready to head. You see? Okay, that's a pretty solid position.
Okay, so bike fit is done. Been here for about 2 hours with Craig. but I thought it'd be quite cool to show before and after, and then you can just take you through it, because I think it really shows how much a bike fit does help. So over to you.
Yeah, so this is Lewis before, or when he first came in, I should say. Just play the video. So you can see he's really extended at the front. Saddle height, we haven't actually moved a million miles away. We have ended up with him further forward, but I'll go through that in a moment. But you can see his reach at the front is far too extended. There's no tilt, and that isn't necessarily for everyone, but I do find that it makes most people much more comfortable, at least, if not faster, but definitely more comfortable. So that's him before, and I will just shoot down to his last one, and this is him with his helmet on. So I'll just run through this for you. So you can see there's loads of changes here to report, but we've brought his saddle further forward, so we've increased his effective seat tube angle in effect. We've brought his elbow pads and his bars further back. We've put on a 20-degree tilt at the front end, or 20-degree elbow pad tilt. His bars were already slightly upright, so there's a bit more tilt on those, 35 degrees on those. So what we have done is we've reduced his reach. His shoulder angle is now, I wanted it between 80 and 85. I think we settled on 82, was it?
Yeah, I think it was 82.
82.5, yeah, really pleased with that. And all round, it's just a much better fit. I mean, Lewis is more comfortable, and I'm happy that everything here, I can happily have Lewis leave and know that all of his angles and where he is on the bike, I'm happy with. Just to go back to one thing though, which I will comment on, his knee angle is quite high. So 152 is quite, it's a high saddle height. As I said at the start, I think that is probably too high for my personal preference, but I am not Lewis. He's been riding for years and years, mountain biking. He's really flexible, and he's quite happy there. We tried different saddle heights, and he's really happy there. So yeah, that's where we're going to leave it, aren't we, I think? Yeah,
I think the knee thing is just mountain bike racing. You're always fully extended on climbs and things, so I think it's a little bit different, and that helps you coming off the bike to run, not being, because I've only done the sport for 2 years. If I went any lower, I would start to struggle with that knee pain a little bit with running. So
yeah, and again, nice, this is why it's quite nice having those guidelines of angles there as purely that, as guidelines. They're not black and white, no. And every individual is simply that, they are individual. Whereas myself, as somebody who is inflexible, my seat height is quite low. I simply can't tolerate a high seat height at all. But Lewis here is, you've got quite a good tolerance to seat height. So we're going to leave it there, but all the other angles absolutely bang on. Torso angle when we started was north of 25. It's now down to 21.8 or 22. So he's much more aerodynamic at the front end, providing you can hold it there, which we think you can. Shoulder angle's good, foot angle's good. So yeah, generally pleased. Cool. No excuses in Mallorca now, Lou? No, I know. I'm quite worried now. Yeah. I better get a good time. But if anyone did want a bike fit, where can they find you? So Whittlefit Performance, if you go to Whittlefit website or Instagram page, Whittlefit Performance, you'll find a link there. It's probably best to message me directly through Instagram Messenger. I usually pick that up really quickly. Just not through school times? Just not during school times, no. But no, so yeah, fire away, and plenty of bike fit slots coming up in May, June and July. You know what, just in time for the Ironman season. Just in time for Ironman season. You know what? Well, that's it for this video. New bike, obviously. Just quite excited now to get it underway. We got Mallorca in 4 weeks, so this is the sort of time to get used to this position now. Should give me enough time to get some efforts in, but overall looking forward to it, and thank you, Craig. Thank you very much. Cheers, guys.